6 months have passed since you defeated the Netherbrain.
Wow.
And since then, you have seen more of life than you ever thought possible. You are greeted as a savior, a champion, a hero. But sometimes you feel like something else entirely. An adventurer, a traveler, a survivor. You faced down the gods. You thwarted the grand design. Anything seems possible. But before you can write the next chapter of your story, you must end this one. That's why you're going back to where all of this began, answering an invitation to gather with your allies and friends.
Thou wert called here, some from above, some below. For with thine bond, together thou hast kept the wheel of fate spinning when it threatened to halt. Though thou wert drawn far apart in the months after the collapse of the Absolute, tonight fate renews thy bond once more. Thou shouldst take care to preserve it. It is a great weapon wielded in the hand of good. Go. Know one another once more.
Uhu.
Wer ist denn Millie?
Kleidertruhe. Oh. Farben ohne Ende. Auswahl an Klamotten.
Jo. Die Katze. Die fliegende Katze. Was macht die denn hier?
Gehört zu Gale.
Oh, right. You. Hello.
Gales Freundin Tara, nicht wahr? Es ist schön, euch wiederzusehen.
Yes, I'm certain it is. As for you, well, I've heard congratulations are in order. You helped Mr. Dekarios save Baldurs Gate from the Absolute, isn't that right?
Das ist seine Katze? Eigentlich hat Gale mir geholfen.
That doesn't sound like him. But whichever way you want to remember it, well done, I suppose. You ought to come visit myself and Gale when you're able. If you can extract yourself from what I'm sure are very important responsibilities.
Das würde mir gut gefallen. Danke für die Einladung.
Send word by pigeon when we've need of you. I used to have a taste for them, but a great many things have changed in recent months. Ta-ta, darling.
Das ist seine Katze?
Red mal mit Gale.
Mach das.
Well, well. Look what the Tressim dragged in. Professor Gale Dekarios of Blackstaff Academy.
Aha.
Educator of the esteemed School of Illusion. Pleasure to remake your acquaintance.
Drängt euch auf die Schule der Illusionsmagie. Ich hätte gedacht, ihr könntet den gesamten Lehrplan unterrichten.
Das
Offer, as a matter of fact. However, the Blackstaff insisted I couldn't teach every subject, nor could the simulacra of myself I offered to create for that purpose. So I've settled for teaching the art of illusion. Magic to confound the senses, to render the impossible into reality, and to allow expression of that most magical attribute of all, imagination. I fear my students find me somewhat intimidating due to my, explosive former reputation. Seem to put the fear of the gods into them. Or the fear of Mistra, to be more specific. I surrendered the crown of Carsus to her, as I told you I would. And in return, she cured me of the orb at last. Even now, I struggle to put the feelings into words. It was like exhaling for the first time after holding my breath for so very long. Of course, I haven't clarified with my students that the orb is no longer a threat. The legend of my explosive capabilities is an excellent means of controlling a classroom. Too good, if anything.
So kann man es auch machen.
I spend most of my time trying to convince them how much fun the study of magic can be. But it'd be easier to crack a smile on an intellect devourer than some of my pupils.
Oh, ich habe ganz schön viel noch zu sagen.
Das freut mich zu hören. Das Gewebe ist kein Stoff für müßige Studien. Es ist gefährlich und so sollte es auch behandelt werden.
Still, I hoped my students might be a little more open to the playful side of such magic. Oh, they try their best, of course, and they can manage to stay awake.
Cheek of them! Nothing a well-placed swipe from Tara can't fix, though.
And what of you? What are you making of this newfound lease of life we earned?
Wenn ich euch von meinen jüngsten Taten erzählen würde, müsste ich euch leider töten, beziehungsweise mein Schutzpatron würde es tun.
Mhm. Oh, Schutzpatron, ja.
From you, I'd expect nothing less. I've told my students plenty of tales about our escapades. You're something of a hero to them, you know?
Ich frage mich, ob der...
Delighted to introduce you to my current cohort as a guest lecturer, perhaps. I'm sure they'd have plenty of questions for you.
Frag mich, ob ich da gerade eine andere Auswahlmöglichkeit gehabt hätte, wenn ich einen anderen Patron hätte. Das wäre interessant. Natürlich, aber ich fürchte, ich wäre ein Doppelpack. Mein Schutzpatron könnte einem gebannten Publikum nicht widerstehen.
Well, I for one can't wait. And I say with some confidence, neither can they. Of course, you'll be most welcome to stay with me in my tower. My apologies, Tara. That would be our tower. It will give us plenty of time to catch up on your adventures. I'm very curious to know what you've been up to these past months. But I suspect the telling of that tale would keep you tied to me all evening. So, in the spirit of selflessness, I encourage you to mix and mingle for now. Time enough to come.
Hat jetzt einen anderen Dialog bei mir eigentlich? Hat überhaupt einen Dialog bei mir?
Well, well. Look what the Tressim drew. Professor Gale Decarius of Blackstaff Academy.
Na gut, ich könnte
Educator of
jetzt,
the esteemed school of...
jetzt genau dasselbe sagen.
I fear my... Or the fear of I surrender. I spend most of my time trying to convince them how much fun the study of magic can... Oh, and what of you? What are you making of this newfound lease of life we earned? I've told my students... I'll be delighted to introduce you to my... Well, I for one can't wait. Of course, you'll be most welcome to... It will... So?
Ah, okay.
Da ist Schattenherz.
Mach ich sofort. Ich rede erstmal mit Lae'zel.
I thought slaying Vlaakith's hunters in the cliffs of Sword's Teeth might be the month's pinnacle. But I was wrong. Being right here, with you, is an infinitely greater pleasure.
Hä?
Were it not for you, I might not have known the value of partnership, connection. I found new allies now. New friends. People I trust and who trust me in return. We've heard word of a Githyanki outpost hidden deep in Chult, the last of Vlaakith's Sword Coast strongholds. We mean to slay every last Sarth in Kithrak. I thought perhaps you'd care to join us.
Bin dabei.
Klar, ich bin dabei, hallo? Bin dabei. Binnen in 10 Tagen brechen wir auf.
You always did have a great fire in your belly. I'm glad to see you have kept it kindled. Now go, mingle while you can. That's the word, right? Mingle? There is plenty of time yet for slicing scalps and tasting blood.
So. Bin dafür, jeder spricht mal mit ein. Wieso ist hier ein Dolch?
Kanach.
Though I'm going to get very hungry. Ah, soldier. How glad I am to see you again.
Und sie brennt
I'd
immer noch.
started to wonder if I ever would.
Hell. Tut mir leid, dass ich nicht vorbeigekommen bin.
I'm sorry I haven't reached out. I guess I wasn't sure what you'd make of me. I've changed so much. But then again, you have too.
Ah, nicht so viel, wie man denken könnte.
Stubbornly yourself, aren't you? I suppose I used to be too. But this evolution has shown me parts of myself I never knew existed. For example, my favorite food used to be mutton chops. Do you know what it is now? Brains, soldier. Brains.
Wir wachsen ja nicht auf Bäumen. Wie bekommt ihr sie?
I thought I was good at cracking skulls before. Now I've got it down to something of a science.
Okay.
Maybe more of a religion. I've made arrangements with a healer in the city. When a patient is beyond saving, but still able to speak for themselves, they're offered a choice. They can go as nature intends to take them, or when they're ready, when their goodbyes have been said, their affairs settled, and all that awaits them is pain, I relieve them. When I consume their brains, I am nourished by much more than the physical nutrition. Their memories, from birth to death, become part of me. I've lived hundreds of childhoods, first loves, marriages, feuds and friendships. I remember them all. And in this way, we all live on together.
Ihr habt euch eigentlich nicht verändert.
I think of you too. This life of ours, soldier. It's a long one, if we're lucky. Who knows what the future holds for either of us? It's been wonderful to see you again. Reminds me of old times around the campfire. We used to think becoming a mind flayer was a fate worse than death. I wouldn't trade my life, this life, for anything. Funny how things change, isn't it? Enjoy the night, my friend. I know I will.
Ja. Das ist ja nochmal ein Happy End für sie.
Ach, hier endet das, okay.
Perhaps he wishes to live vicariously through the attendees' appetites. I will never get tired of seeing that face.
Was ihrer?
So, dann... Ja, dann rede ich mal mit ihr.
Well, now. You can make yourself presentable when you have a mind to.
Immerhin einer von... Ja, warte mal, ja. Ich habe viel gelernt, seit wir uns das letzte Mal gesehen haben.
I'm glad the months have not been wasted. Particularly as I spent them cleaning up the mess we made of the city. Same twisting alleys for purse pickers. Same wooden buildings ready to get burnt by next year's dragon. Same cisterns overflowing. Huh.
Es ist ein Drecksloch, aber es ist unser Drecksloch. Ich würde es nicht anders haben wollen.
Baldurians simply get on with it. Stubbornness, civic spirit, plain stupidity. Perhaps all three. But nothing I will sniff at any longer. Harpers have come from half the world over to lend aid. Farmers, masons, healers. My own son, Jord, has been wooed to their ranks. Already he plans crop cycles in Worm's Crossing. Not so for my daughter. Ryan's rejoined the Flaming Fist. Temporarily, you understand. To organize the craftsmen.
Im Hintergrund siehst du nur
He
Minsk.
spends more time locking up comrades for pocketing aid funds. They might learn a thing or two if they don't expel her. Again.
Alles gut und schön, aber was ist mit euch? Ich will wissen, was ihr getrieben habt.
There is still much to do. People to house. A Harper network to rebuild. I may have little love for this city, but so long as my family chooses to serve it, I can do no less. For all your travels, I hope you have arrived where you want to be. Home. Whatever that means to you.
Dieser Lagerplatz ist... Hier ist meine Heimat, egal wie weit ich fort bin.
Ah, sentiment. With the greatest affection, I can think of better ways to sour our stomachs. I must inspect the refreshments. You'll never know. Some ne'er-do-well might have tampered with the wine.
Okay, ich knöpfe mal Astarion vor, wenn ich ihn finde.
Der ist da hinten.
A pity mutton chops no longer hold any temptation.
My first and oldest friend. The last 6 months have been kind to you.
Nettes Outfit.
Naja, ich habe jede meiner Laster gefrönt und noch ein paar neue entdeckt.
A soul after my own heart. Oh, assuming you have any soul left, of course. But I am glad to see you're living life to the fullest. We deserve nothing less, you and I.
Scheint euer neues Leben zu genießen.
Of course. I've tried to taste everything this world has to offer. It has been a joy. I've been rediscovering what it means to be alive. More or less. Cazador's mansion has become my palace, and played host to every kind of banquet and soiree and masquerade imaginable. And of course, has seen its fair share of hedonism, clandestine deals, and the occasional disappearance. Whatever it takes to build up my influence over those who matter.
I'm spinning my web. Power grows slowly, but I have nothing but time now.
Aha, ist jetzt er der neue Vampirfürst oder wie?
Ja.
Hm.
Was habt ihr vor? Wollt ihr Regent von Baldurs Tor werden?
Oh, I wouldn't say ruler. Any old fool can sit on the throne. I would be more of a puppet master.
Vielleicht der
For all my
Buchspiel.
freedom to walk in the sun, it's still much more fun to pull the strings of power from the shadows. Not that everyone's on board, of course. Our friend Will is a stubbornly capable Grand Duke. It's been difficult to get much past him, although I will keep trying. But the important thing is I am doing wonderfully. Finally having a life that's worth living. And who knows what's next? There's an entire world out there, ready for the taking.
Darauf würde ich trinken.
Perhaps the next time we meet, we'll have grander conquests to toast. I did miss you, you know. There is a sense of loneliness that comes with power. We did share a wonderful adventure, you and I. A pity to see it end in some ways. But we have great new lives stretching out before us, and great new adventures to go on. I will never forget the time we spent together, though. And I know you'll never forget me. Until next time, darling. Perhaps I should stretch my wings again. Who knows what people are gossiping?
I told you our friend was near.
Ja, wen knöpfe ich mir denn noch vor?
Schattenherz?
Nee, die mache ich zum Schluss.
Da ist Helsin, da ist Minsk.
So, wo ist Helsin?
Ja, da.
Ach, na komm.
Just the
You would
same.
think someone of my vintage would be inured to the passage of time. Yet these past 6 months have seemed endless without your company. But now, our paths cross once more.
Es beruht auf Gegenseitigkeit, ihr habt mir gefehlt.
We have all pined for each other's company, I sense. I cannot imagine otherwise after what we shared. That bond was forged in a crucible that can never be stoked again, Oak Father willing. It is a bond that can weather any distance, any passage of time. I know it can, for I feel the longing for old friends in my heart each day.
Klingt, als könntet ihr etwas zum Trinken gebrauchen.
Well, I am not normally given to imbibing, but this is a special occasion, and I believe our dear Withers procured a fine honey mead as part of the celebratory victuals. Even the most ascetic of nature's servants would be tempted by such an elixir, but that can wait. Your company is what truly drew me. Now, we have much to catch up on. Do not allow me to ramble on. I am eager to hear all you've been doing.
Ihr zuerst, Helsin. Ich will von euren Leben hören und von den Leuten, denen ihr geholfen habt.
In that case, very well. Our community grows rapidly. In 6 months, we have turned what was once a shadowy wasteland into a true home for all. In another 6 months, I would wager the scars of the past will be entirely invisible, even to those who remember them. The old masonry of Moonrise Towers and Rythwin have been repurposed into new homes, and the land is rich with harvests and bountiful trees. Nature and civilization are in harmony. stronger together.
Ist das die Gleichgewicht, nach dem ihr gesucht habt?
In a manner of speaking, yes. Though it is a more complex, evolving beast than I could ever have anticipated. True balance is no simple, fixed thing. I see that now. We welcome folk from all walks of life. Anyone who wishes for a new start. Naturally, it can be chaotic at times, but it is a thrilling sort of chaos. It thrives in ways I could never have dreamed of.
Ich muss mir den Ort einmal selbst anschauen.
You are welcome whenever you like, and for however long you please. Now, please, tell me all, and spare no details. I shall not lie. I have an ulterior motive in wishing to hear all. It is the children, you see, my charges. Their appetite for bedtime tales is greater than I could ever have anticipated. Another story, Daddy Halsin. Another is the chorus that greets me each nightfall. They have all but exhausted my repertoire in but a few short months. No mean feat given the lifetime I have lived. I desperately need new material, please. My reputation is at stake.
Gut, mal sehen, was ich tun kann.
I am all ears, though I never cared for that phrase. A rather unsettling image.
Täuschen. Wieso muss ich darauf würfeln?
Warum willst du ihn täuschen?
Weiß ich nicht. Ich wusste nicht. Ich wollte nur mal interessant. Und ich finde es so interessant, dass ich würfeln muss. Er hält sie mit Geschichten aus dem letzten halben Jahr beglücken.
You have kept yourself busy. I expected no less in truth. I shall be able to keep the children enthralled for a few more nights yet, thanks to you. And should you wish to retell of your exploits in person, well, I shall not object to a night off. Now, it would be cruel of me to hoard you all to myself for the evening, as much as I would like to. I shall leave you to the others for now, unless there was anything else.
Erzähl mir von Taniel und Oliver. Seht ihr sie oft?
Quite often. They come and go as they please, but with so many playmates to avail of, they are far from strangers. They ask after you often. What you did for them will never be forgotten. I can see it in the land all around me. But more importantly, I see it in their faces whenever they visit. To make a child smile is to dabble with the power of gods, as far as I'm concerned.
Und der Hain, seid ihr noch mit dem noch verbunden?
On occasion, but I prefer not to interfere. Francesca of the High Forest is Archdruid now, and by all accounts, she has proven to be a steady and wise influence. Even Korga may yet find true balance, thanks to her influence.
Streift sich ja noch gerne in Berggestalt umher.
I spend half my days in ursine form. The children demand it. I had a score of them taking turns riding upon my back just days ago. I'm glad they are so comfortable with the Oakfather's creations. But they must learn that not all are as amiable as I am. A lesson for another time, though. They deserve some joy. As for roaming, that impulse has dwindled, I must admit. Perhaps because I have found where I am meant to be.
Ganz schön viel zu erzählen. Scheint beständiger als gedacht. Ich hätte das für gegen eure Natur gehalten.
As did I, but somehow I feel like I no longer need to roam. That I have found something worthy laying roots for. Amazing what can be discovered about oneself, even at a ripe old age.
Darf ich eine Umarmung haben?
I was just thinking the very same.
Oh, komm. Es ist schließlich der Abschied. Oder der Epilog.
I could get used to this.
Dich zum Gehen.
Before you go, I have something for you. Just a little keepsake, really. Do you remember how I told you I like to whittle? I made this.
Hmm?
Ducks are my favorite, but I thought they were particularly fitting in this case. They are migratory birds, of course, traveling far and wide with the turn of the seasons. Yet, they always find their way back to where they belong. Just like old friends find themselves back in each other's company.
Reizend, vielen Dank.
Just a token to remember me by. Now, I've taken up enough of your time. Go on. Enjoy the festivities. We can speak again later.
Ja.
Hallo, Volo.
Oh Gott, jetzt bin ich mal gespannt.
Ah, my dear friend.
Wundert mich, dass der hier ist.
Age, has it not? You're looking very well indeed. Our skeletal friend will be very pleased to see I found my way here, despite my invitation getting lost in the post.
Ah ja. Seid ihr auf der Suche nach Material für eure nächsten Enthüllungen?
Oh, I wouldn't bother you with such things during a party. And anyway, I've gotten quite good at replicating your signature, so you needn't even bother with the release form. You might help me with the title, though. I'm considering The Hero and Me. What do you think?
Das könnt ihr doch besser, nicht wahr?
Ach, der
Terribly sorry, but you mistake me, my
hat sich
friend.
Astarion in Fledermaus verwandelt?
I'm complimentary feedback at this time. Perhaps, once the manuscript is finished, you'd even be willing to write a foreword? Or better yet, I'll write a draft and you can just sign your name. Better still, I'll sign it for you. Hmm? Ah, your success really has been wonderful for my reputation. But you mustn't let me hog your attention all night, my friend. You've many friends to chat to, and I'd love to listen in.
Astarion fliegt hier rum als Fledermaus.
Geil.
Der Gestaltwandelmann als Fledermaus. Puh. Wen haben wir denn noch? Ich rede mal mit Minsk.
Good song, good company, good wine. I wish it could last forever.
Boo! We are not dreaming. It is our old friend.
Ich fasse es nicht, dass Weltraumhamster wirklich existieren. Auch schön, euch zu sehen, Minsk.
Oh, and it is good to be seen. Oh, after so many days down in the dark, Minsk began to wonder if he was some blind bug who had only dreamed himself to be large and bulksome. You will forgive the aroma, I hope. We were not expecting the Dusty One to open a portal to our very cell. Boo had a moment to lick himself clean, but there is a little too much of Minsk to cover.
Ich war da gesperrt, weswegen?
Minsk and Boo have been helping, of course. We guard the streets, while Jahira is occupied with harperish matters. The Zentarum rule the city's underbelly, so Minsk and Boo went to give them a tickle.
There were harsh words, battle cries, some manner of head wound. We awoke in a Zentish cell, awaiting trial by noble combat. Execution, says Boo, though I am not sure of the difference. It is a long walk to the gallows, and Minsk still has his fists, no?
Klingt, als hätte Lazarus euch gerade noch rechtzeitig rausgeholt.
In ample time indeed. So long as the Bone Mage returns us to our cell by dawn, Boo would not be late to the bloodshed. But leave such matters for the morn. Tonight is for celebration and the telling of tales. How have you filled your days since we tore this sticky tyrant from the sky?
Ich lebe einfach mein Leben, jetzt da ich jemanden gefunden habe, mit dem ich es teilen kann.
Aha, the lovebirds still nest together then? Minsk is glad. For what is life without a companion? Though I am thinking yours does not sit on your shoulders, eh? Ah, you are right, Boo. That is none of Minsk's business. There is much merriment to be made before the night is done. Go, and greet the others. Minsk shall make himself presentable. Ah, this pond shall do nicely, Boo. Though I see no soap. So you shall have to blow the bubbles for me.
So, wer ist denn der Musikant?
Oh, hello. Let me guess, you've got some suggestions about the music choice.
Lil?
Er wirkt verdrießlich. Ich dachte, Baden sollten voller Lebenslust und Freude sein.
I find it hard to summon up the trademark pep these days. You have no idea who I am, do you? I thought Withers might have set the stage a little.
Ich weiß genau, wer ihr seid. Das ist mir eine große Ehre.
Ah, da musst du würfeln, ist klar.
Ich habe nur noch einen Bonus von +10. Mir fehlt so ein bisschen die Lyciden-Fähigkeit. Aber klappt auch so.
You know? You're bloody right. It is an honor. Finally! The scribe picks an adventurer of substance, of culture. What can I do you for?
Ich möchte das etwas
Your
anders
wish is
spielt.
my... etc. What song do you want?
Mach doch mal 5.
Neue Komposition, was noch niemand gehört hat.
Fantastic idea. It'll suit the whole affair perfectly.
Na komm, du kannst doch noch mit Will reden. Dann rede ich mit Schattenherz.
Hello again.
Okay. Hallo, Will.
Your relief, your projection holds. It took a dozen Gish's talents, a few stolen psi crystals, and 2 10 days of effort. You can touch, taste, and talk. But your fleshy body is in limbo, the home of the mystical Githzerai. Once the Githzerai were one with the Githyanki, until bloody civil war severed the Gith species. The Githzerai god king Menyar ad-Gith sent word through the cosmos. He knows of your rebellion. and he's agreed to parley. Should the Githzerai join you, you could vanquish Flakith in a red dragon's blink.
What's the word on the rebellion? I presume you've cracked open more Kithraki heads than you could possibly count.
Wieso hat er eigentlich immer noch seine Hörner? Sollten die nicht nach 6 Monaten weg sein?
Ja. Zumindest seine Fähigkeiten sind weg.
Ja, die Hörner bleiben jetzt, oder wie?
Ja, scheinbar.
13 Kritanki, 25 Saat und 305 Krieger. Ganz genau.
13 Kisraki, 520. Okay.
Then you did keep count. I should have known you would. I'm afraid since we last met, my corpse count remains a paltry 0. Unless you count the boars I felled on ducal hunts. Rebuilding a city requires a politic mind. A sharp soldering blade, not so much. Bargains must be made. Coin must change hands. Tongues must be held in check. Father leaves me to my own devices. Oh, he's got no shortage of advice when I ask for it. Still, I make the decisions I see fit. The ones I think will restore the city to glory. I serve only Baldurs Gate, not a devil of the first hell.
Wie geht's deinem Vater?
Father's very well, and back in his element, commanding the flaming fist with as brave a heart as ever. Floric, bless her soul, convinced him to withhold the lashings and scoldings, though I know he was tempted. The likes of Gortash can bend people's minds with a few chosen words. No tadpole needed. Bane's chosen primed the fist for a war they weren't meant to win. He convinced them there was an assassin hiding in every shadow, that cruelty was the correct answer to crisis. With a few exceptions, Father's pardoned every last fist. If my forgiveness not be Tyr's will, so be it. I shall forgive them all the same. His words, not mine. He still believes in the bow and the blade, but with Floric's help, he's teaching the fist a new lesson. Valor is found not in the wounds you inflict, but in the lives that you have bettered. May they all take it to heart.
Wie geht es der Stadt? Es hat sich vieles verändert, nehme ich an.
I've had more than a few challenges, given the horns sprouting from my head. The people know me as one of the champions who saved their beloved city. They know Ravengard blood flows through my veins. The patriarchs, the aristocracy, the councils of Waterdeep and their arms aren't so wide open. Still, there's no friction that can't be greased with a sly promise or a proposition.
Als wir erstmals in die Stadt kamen, war die Brücke voller Flüchtlinge. Ich merke, dass die Dinge sich geändert haben.
The jewel of the coast will shine ever bright, welcoming the weak and the weary from wherever they hail. We are building new housing, not just shanties, but homes where families can rest their heads, plant gardens, pursue happiness. Amazing what can be done when Parliament and the Council pressure the upper city elites to open their coffers. I'm sure the Silver Shields can make do without a few more jeweled crowns.
Was ist aus dem Rat der Vier von Baldurs Tor geworden?
Disbanded, to be formed anew. I don't expect a soldier or street sweeper to see through the schemes of a tyrant like Gortash. But the city's lords and ladies were all too eager to abandon their oaths and bend the knee. My father, older Ravengard, is now Grand Duke of the Triad, Keeper of the Fist. Floric is now Grand Duke of the Crossing, the face of devotion. And I am Will Ravengard, Grand Duke of the Worm, Heart of the Gate. We will yet be four. Until such time and after, we will enact the will of the People's Parliament. Baldurs Gate is nothing without its citizens, both in the upper and lower. Our duty is to them, and only them.
Brauche ich mir von was
Of course.
anderem. Hm. Ich habe das Reisen mit euch vermisst. Ihr wart sehr angenehme
I've
Gesellschaft.
missed you too. The rush of battles we fought, the heart-to-hearts, the nights
Wir haben
around
ihn nie
the fire,
mitgenommen.
Nein,
the comfort of knowing I
nie.
didn't face the
Nie haben wir ihn
unknown
mitgenommen.
alone.
Einmal zum Level.
If I had to do it all over again, and I'd rather not, to be clear, I can't imagine not having you at my side.
Sora vermisst ihr wohl niemals.
Never. The hexes and eldritch blasts, losing them took getting used to. They left behind a cold abyss where fire once raged. So I stoked a new one. Now the burning comes from within me, not from the depths of Avernus. Go on, the night's young. You shouldn't waste a moment of it. Or waste a single drop of wine for that matter. I plan on downing half a bottle myself. Oops, did I say half a bottle? I meant half a dozen.
Minz kaut sich voll.
Beautiful fate, grander than any of the patriarchs.
Ich weiß, mit wem ich mich noch unterhalten möchte, bevor ich Schattenherz
Familiar
rede.
sight. Scratch can't quite speak around the thing he has in
Wieso
his
hat er das
mouth.
Prisma im Mund? Was hast du denn diesmal, Kratzer?
I found this. It smelled like you, so I kept it. Seemed like something you might like to throw.
Jo, werft halt.
Sehr gerne, aber sag mir zuerst, wie es dir ergangen ist.
Oh, I've been so good. I've got a nice home in the city now. A girl named Mindy says I'm her best friend. She's mine too. Also you and Albert. I've got so many best friends. I hardly know who to play with.
Schön, dass es dir...
Hat er gerade den Eulenbären erwähnt?
Wieso heißt die Mirta? Hä? Hat er doch gar nicht.
Beim Untertitel nicht, aber ich meine, hätte gerade Owlbear rausgehört.
Schön, dass es dir in unseren Reise gut ergangen ist.
I certainly have, and I always will. Forever, I think. And so will you.
Das ist ein gefährliches Ding. Ich weiß nicht, ob wir damit spielen sollten.
You know best. But a little fetch never hurt anyone. As far as I know.
Okay.
Schmeiß mal das Prisma.
Dann rede ich mal mit
Hast du
Schatten.
das jetzt?
Nee, habe ich nicht. Ah, da. Inaktives Prisma. Aber meine Ausrüstung habe ich noch. Ach, nee. Ja, er holt es. Aber er spielt einfach nur damit. So, dann rede ich mal mit Schattenherz.
I didn't expect to be nervous. But seeing everyone here like this, it's strange, isn't it? I feel like I must have dreamed the last few months. Now I'm waking up back in camp with my hair smelling like wood smoke and fallen leaves stuck to my backside.
Keine Sorge, ihr werdet euch hier nur amüsieren.
A little wine might help accelerate the process. So, we should divvy up what we tell people about what we've been doing these past few months. I'd hate to be a bore that comes along and regurgitates the same story to someone moments after you've told them. Any ideas?
Wir könnten sie nicht mal langweilen, wenn wir es versuchen würden. Denkt ihr doch nur, was wir alles erlebt haben.
Well, there's the visit to the House of the Moon, fending off Sharan assassins. That stray imp that joined us. Bing bong, wasn't it? We've squeezed in a lot.
Bing bong.
And I'm glad I got to share it all with you. I'm sure we'll have them hanging off our every word. I'll leave you to do some mingling, unless you need anything else.
Ach komm, bin ich ein bisschen romantisch. Zum Abschluss. Was ich wirklich brauche, ist ein Kuss.
That can be arranged.
Ne, was meinst du, Sammy? So.
Almost a shame we're with company. I'd be tempted to let you whisk me away someplace
Ach, so ist das.
quiet.
Ach kommt her, lasst mich euch halten. So, das machen wir
Why?
alles.
Are you expecting to be gone for long? All right.
So, jetzt haben wir auch alles durch. Das Outfit gefällt mir, was sie hat. Aber das hatten wir niemals gesehen gehabt irgendwo.
Nein.
I could get lost in those arms.
Tja. Ich bin bald zurück. Viel
With
Spaß.
music in the air and wine flowing, I think I'll manage. Don't get into trouble, but if you must, fetch me first.
Ja, das war's. Wir haben keine
Ich rede
mehr.
auch nochmal mit ihr. Mal gucken, ob sie bei mir was anderes sagt.
Ja, doch, die hat keine Schuhe an.
Starting to wonder if you'd show up.
Schat, jetzt nicht wahr? Das war so ein Witz, ich habe die Tage gezählt.
Honestly? So have I. Oh, come here, will you? It's been forever.
Oh, einmal umarmen.
Ich muss auch nochmal mit Lizelle reden. Die bei mir auch noch was anderes zu sagen hat, weil anscheinend war ich ja mit ihr Yankee killen.
You feel a little more substantial than before. Less camping and scrounging off the land, I take it.
Den Typ ich dick.
Ja, eigentlich vermisse ich das.
Same. In fact, I found a nice meadow not far from where I live now. Every now and again, I'll spend the night there.
Aha.
For old time's sake. I'm glad you seem well. Trudy.
Erzählt mir, was ihr so getrieben habt.
Wandering, mostly. The adventuring life is almost a tonic when you're not constantly threatened by brain monsters and cultists. I can finally see the world beyond the cloister.
Wäre cool, wenn sie dich erwähnen würde.
Ja, habe ich jetzt auch gedacht.
Was seid ihr gewesen? Was habt ihr gesehen?
One of my first stops was the House of the Moon in Waterdeep. It's the largest temple of Selûne in existence. It seemed like the perfect spot to reflect on my parents, on where they came from. And where I came from too, I suppose. Hard to imagine, isn't it? Me, of all people, in the lair of the Moon Witch herself. God, your truest act of heroism was putting up with all that char and drivel I was spouting for so long.
Ja, Brechi war überaus heldenhaft. Eure Eltern wären stolz auf euch.
Oh, I know they are. I can still sense them, I think. And one day we'll be reunited.
Was habt ihr sonst noch so getrieben?
Well, I've had run-ins with my former fellow Sharans on a couple of occasions. Word seems to have spread of what happened at the cloister. Now other chapters of Shar worshippers see me as a prime target to offer up to their lady as a sacrifice. Don't worry. I know their tired old tricks better than anyone. They'll need more than a hooded cloak and poison blade to best me. Especially when I have a friend on the inside keeping me abreast of their predictable little plans.
Jemand Nachtschatten?
None other. The matter of her faith and allegiances remains complicated, let's say. But she is still my oldest friend. I have hopes that perhaps she might turn from Shar entirely given time. But that's a decision she will have to make for herself. If that day comes, I'll be ready.
Was habt ihr jetzt
I
vor?
don't know. Which is just the way I like it just now. Perhaps I'll just stick a pin in a map and see what I find, or head to the docks in the morning and scrounge a berth to find somewhere new. I'd like to see the islands, maybe, or head south to Arm. I heard there's an enclave of werecats that hunt the followers of dark gods by moonlight. I'd love to see if there's any truth to that. But enough about me. What have you been up to?
Gar nichts.
Okay.
Don't be a stranger.
Ja gut, bei mir hat es den anderen Dialog, weil ich ja das mit ihr erlebt habe.
Ja.
Ja gut, du kannst ja mit Lae'zel nochmal reden.
Ja, wenn ich sie finde.
Jetzt hat er sich wieder in eine Fledermaus verwandelt. Die ist da oben rechts, wo ich sie auch angesprochen habe.
Da.
Ja, danach machen wir mal
Mal
Feierabend.
gucken.
Ne? Mal sehen, was gleich noch kommen wird.
Old friend, I thought slaying Vlaakith's hunters in the Cliffs of Swords Teeth might be the month's pinnacle. But I was wrong. Being right here, with you, is an infinitely greater pleasure.
Ah, das ist das Gleiche, ne?
Ja, ich glaube schon. Ja, jetzt guckt sie in die
Were it
Gegend.
not for you, I might not have known the I found new allies now.
Ja.
The one comprising mostly of bone. Perhaps he wishes
Bin
to
dabei.
live vicariously through the
Alles klar,
attendees'
komm.
appetites.
Tja,
Eating mutton chops no longer hold any temptation.
Ja, das war's. Gehen wir
hier,
dahin.
Truhe
wo-
dankbarer Worte.
Hä? Was?
Ach du Briefe ohne Ende, oder was?
Mhm.
Baldurs Gate ist da noch am Pin an der Pinnwand.
Briefe von Florik, Arabelle. Oh Gott.
What a
Irgendjemand
lovely
Interessantes
occasion
bei?
this is.
Ja, ja, das sind all die Briefe von der Imperator.
Nebencharaktere.
Offizieller Gildenbrief. Brief von Art.
Der Imperator. Mein Freund, wir kommunizieren nicht, wie es Illiciden tun sollten, aber ich gestatte es. Betrachtet dies als Referenz an euer früheres Leben, an dem ihr noch immer hängt, wie diese Feier zeigt. Ich kann es euch nicht verübeln, bei mir war es nicht anders. Auch ich habe Zeit gebraucht, um meine Entwicklung zu akzeptieren und zu erkennen, dass es sich wirklich um eine Entwicklung gehandelt hat. Verschafft euch heute Abend die Erinnerungen, die ihr braucht, um euch den Übergang in die Zukunft zu erleichtern. Irgendwann werden jene, die euch so am Herzen liegen, nur noch dies sein. Schöne Erinnerungen, sonst nichts. Es wird soweit, wenn es soweit ist, ruft mich. Mein Geist wird stets offen für euch sein, der Imperator. Ich glaube, das richtet sich ja an Karlach.
Ich glaube auch. Aber es sind all die Leute, die wir halt geholfen haben, ne? Ich weiß nicht, willst du jetzt alle lesen?
Nee, alle nicht.
Von Arabella, Rorik, Dämon. Dämon ist doch der Schmied gewesen, oder nicht?
Ja,
Helm ist da.
und Hoffnung war die im Haus der Hoffnung.
Nachtschatten ist
Ich hatte
sogar
letzte Nacht einen Traum, nicht, dass es hier Nächte gäbe oder Tage. Ich habe von euch geträumt, von euch allen. Ihr wart hier bei mir und ich servierte Brot und Marmelade und Haferkekse und Käse. Dazu genug Tee, um eine Wüste zu trinken. Ihr griff zu und wart fröhlich und lachtet. Und ihr fragtet mich, ob ich glücklich sei. Das hat mich so lange keiner mehr gefragt, dass ich nicht mehr weiß, ob es überhaupt je einer getan hat. Ich weiß nicht, was ich sagen sollte. Darum führte ich euch durch mein Haus und zeigte euch all die Seelen, die mit mir hier sind. Sie gehörten einst Raphael, aber jetzt gehören sie sich selbst. Das Archiv ist eine Kunstgalerie, das Boudoir eine große Küche und das Verlies ein Rückzug für verletzte Seelen und Kreaturen, die ihren Weg zu uns finden. Bin ich glücklich? Ich weiß es nicht. Aber ich bin Hoffnung und bestehe fort, dank euch.
Ah, das ist ja schön. Nachtschatten würde mich noch interessieren jetzt. Schattenherz, meine Liebe, hoffentlich seid ihr wohlauf und glücklich. Ich muss mich kurz fassen, da ich in meiner neuen Enklave fast ununterbrochen von den Anhängern Schars umgeben bin. Ich wünsche euch viel Freude mit euren alten Freunden und hoffe, dass auch ihr und ich uns bald wiedersehen. Ich weiß, solche ketzerischen Gedanken meinerseits müssten seltsam wirken, doch ich kann nicht anders. Vielleicht bin ich eines Tages so mutig wie ihr und verlasse dieses Leben. Bis dahin bin ich sicher aufgehoben und werde meine Erinnerungen an euch als einziges Licht in der Ozean der Dunkelheit bewahren, bis wir einander wiederfinden. Ich bin für immer euer Nachtschatten. So.
Das den von Arabella lese ich noch.
Ja, mach das.
Hallo, hier ist Arabella, wisst ihr noch? Der Knochenmann hat mal gesagt, dass ich mein Gleichgewicht finden muss. Wo die Schöpfung auf den Untergang trifft, der Morgen auf die Mitternacht. Bei der Wurzel alles Seienden. Es klang kompliziert. Aber er hatte recht. Als ich dieses Idol im Wald angefasst habe, war es, als wüchse mir ein Riesenbaum aus dem Kopf. Mit all den komischen Gedanken und Gefühlen und Kräften, die aus den Ästen wachsen wie Blätter. Ich musste mehr über mich herausfinden. Also bin ich dem Gewebe gefolgt, wie der Knochenmann gesagt hat. Ich weiß nicht, woher ich wusste, was man machen muss. Ich habe es einfach gemacht. Als ihr das Gehirn zermatscht hattet, ist der Bartmann aufgetaucht. Meinte, das Gewebe hätte ihn zu mir und mich zu ihm geführt. Er bringt mir bei, was ich mit den ganzen Blättern an meinem Kopfbaum machen soll. Er sagt, ich muss magische Verantwortung lernen. Er sagt auch, dass ich ihn nicht als Bartmann nennen soll. Ich erzähle euch dann, wie es weitergegangen ist.
Ja. So. Dann gehen wir nochmal dahin, wo wir hin müssen.
Ermordung von Erzherzog Gortasch liegt 6 Monate zurück. Lalalala. Letzte Kultisten aus Tempel des Baal vertrieben. Ravenguards bringen Wohlstand in die Stadt zurück. Oh, das ist doch schön. Storms Armee an den baldurischen Grenzen zerstreut. Auf ganzer Linie gesiegt, würde ich behaupten.
Hä? Kann die Tür nicht öffnen. Oh, ich kann aber so reingehen. Ah, Lazarus.
This one night is like any other, and yet different. Thou art the savior of Baldurs Gate.
Hat er neuen Namen auf dem Kopf?
It requires saving again.
Ich weiß es nicht.
How dost thou feel?
Das ist mir nie aufgefallen.
Ich habe meine Pflicht getan, nicht mehr und nicht weniger.
Thou givest thyself so little credit. The duty borne by you was great. You could have well shirked. Thou gavest what it was possible to give. The realm continues for your sacrifices. Enjoy the revelry of the day. Thou deservest at least that much.
Nun, habe ich mich wohl mit allen ausgetauscht. Was kommt als nächstes?
What indeed? Prick up thy ears and listen.
Seid ihr sicher, dass ihr genug gefeiert habt?
Ja, haben wir, ne?
Ja.
The balance of the world restored. The balance of these lives, mortal and otherwise, brought to account. Hear me, thou heroes, wastrels, friends. I have waited long to tell you these words. It is over. For now. Thou played thy part in weaving the fabric of fate itself, but for every thread you sewed, so did the gods unravel another. Sleep, rest, revel, but be ready. For thou mayst yet be needed. Until we meet again, I wish thee every possible fortune, health, wealth, love, and above all, problems worth solving.
Wie er in die Kamera guckt.
Auf Gehen ohne Würmer und auf gesunde Nachtschlaf. Auf die besten Freunde, die ich mir hätte erträumen können.
To you. There thou art, the dead three. Thy faces gods, thy actions barely worthy of the name. Didst truly believe thy ploy would succeed? Didst believe I would not notice? Thou sought to bolster thy strength by taking away the souls of mortals. But souls vanish when their hosts become mind flayers. Didst think the other gods would not notice? Gods thou may be, yet thou hast proven thyself fools, everyone. The supplication of Bane, the whimper of Baal, the death mule of Merkel. Felled by mortals, I overestimated thee. They did not. Vermin, away. Thou wilt trouble us no more.